I've been up here for days now. I don't know how many exactly. The numbers have started to blur together, like the branches of the trees surrounding me. I thought coming up to this cabin in the woods would be a good way to clear my head. I needed a break from work, from my life, and most of all, from my own thoughts. But now I wish I'd never come. The cabin is old, made of thick, weathered logs that creak in the wind. It stands alone on a ridge, overlooking a deep valley that stretches out endlessly in every direction. I chose this place because it was isolated, far from any roads or towns. A friend of a friend owned it, and they promised I wouldn't be disturbed. No Wi-Fi, no cell service, nothing but the silence of the woods. It seemed perfect at the time. The first few days were peaceful enough. I spent my time hiking, reading, and just sitting on the porch, staring out at the trees. I even slept well. For the first time in months, I felt calm. But on the third night, things began to change. It was the noises that woke me up, strange noises coming from outside the cabin. At first, I thought it was just an animal, maybe a deer or a fox. But then I heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate, crunching footsteps moving around the cabin. They stopped and started again, like whoever or whatever was out there was circling, pacing around me in the darkness. I got out of bed and went to the window, careful not to make a sound. The moon was full, casting a silver glow over the clearing around the cabin. I peered out into the darkness, but I couldn't see anyone. Still, the footsteps continued, crunching slowly over the fallen leaves and twigs. I told myself it was just the wind, just my imagination. But the next night, it happened again. The same slow footsteps, the same feeling of something circling the cabin. I stayed in bed, listening, my heart pounding in my chest. I wanted to believe it was just an animal, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. The third night, I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed the flashlight from the kitchen drawer and flung the door open, shouting into the darkness, "Who's out there?" The footsteps stopped. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, from somewhere in the trees, I heard a voice, a low, raspy whisper that sent chills down my spine. "Come outside," it said. "Come and see." I slammed the door shut, my hands trembling. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the floor, with my back against the wall, clutching the flashlight like a weapon. I waited for the footsteps to start again, but they never did. The next morning, I found tracks around the cabin. They were human tracks, but strange, elongated, as if the person making them had been dragging their feet. I decided I'd had enough. I packed my things, threw them into the trunk of my car, and turned the key in the ignition. Nothing. The engine didn't even try to turn over. I checked the battery, the fuel, everything I could think of. Everything seemed fine, but the car wouldn't start. It was as if it had simply died in the night, along with my sense of safety. That's when I saw it. On the edge of the clearing, just at the tree line. A figure. Tall, thin, wrapped in shadows. I blinked, and it was gone. My heart was racing, and I felt a cold sweat trickling down my spine. I grabbed my things and went back inside, locking the door behind me. I tried to call for help, but there was no signal, no way to reach anyone. I was completely alone, stranded up here with whatever was out there. The days passed in a blur. I barely slept, barely ate. Every night the footsteps returned closer and closer until they were just outside the cabin walls. I started hearing whispers through the thin wooden walls, soft and distant at first, but growing louder each night. They sounded like my own voice, echoing back at me, repeating the same thing over and over. "Come outside. Come and see." Yesterday, I found something new outside. A pile of stones, carefully stacked in front of the door. I kicked them over, trying not to think about what it meant. But they were back again this morning, taller this time, almost reaching the door handle. I've started to feel like I'm losing my mind. I can't tell if the things I'm seeing are real or just figments of my sleep-deprived brain. Last night, I woke up to find a figure standing in the corner of my bedroom. I froze, too terrified to move. I could only see its outline, tall and thin, its head almost touching the ceiling. It didn't move, didn't make a sound, but I could feel its eyes on me, watching. I closed my eyes, counting to 10, telling myself it wasn't real. When I opened them, the figure was gone, but the feeling of being watched remained. Today, I found another pile of stones, this time inside the cabin, right in the center of the living room. I don't know how it got there. I don't know how anything is happening anymore. I just know I need to get out. I've been walking for hours, trying to find a way back to civilization, but the woods are like a maze. No matter which direction I go, I always end up back at the cabin. The sun is starting to set now, and I can feel the fear creeping in again, the cold, creeping dread that I'm not alone. I'm back at the cabin now. I don't want to go inside, but I have nowhere else to go. The trees seem to close in around me, their branches reaching out like skeletal hands, trapping me in this place. I'm so tired, so hungry, I feel like I'm going mad. As the darkness falls, I hear the footsteps again, louder this time, closer. They stop just outside the door, and I hear the whispering start. It's my voice again, distorted and echoing, but I can hear it clearer now. Come outside. Come and see. I don't want to. I'm terrified of what I might see, but I know I can't stay in here forever. I take a deep breath, my hand on the doorknob. The whispers grow louder, almost deafening now. Come outside. Come and see. I don't know what's out there, waiting for me in the darkness, but I have to know. I have to see. I twist the doorknob, and the door creaks open. The footsteps stop. The whispering stops. For a moment, there's nothing but silence, the cold night air biting at my skin. I step outside, flashlight in hand, and sweep the beam across the clearing. Nothing. The clearing is empty, the trees silent and still. I take a few steps forward, my breath fogging in the chill night air. And then I see it. A shape, standing at the edge of the woods, just beyond the reach of my flashlight. It's tall, thin, its limbs unnaturally long, its face hidden in shadow. My heart pounds in my chest, and I feel a scream rising in my throat, but I can't move, can't make a sound. The shape steps forward, just enough that I can see its face. It's me. It looks exactly like me, down to the clothes I'm wearing, the expression on my face, the terror in my eyes. It smiles. A wide, unnatural smile that stretches across its face like a wound. And then it speaks, in my voice, but distorted, wrong. Come outside. Come and see. I drop the flashlight, and the darkness swallows me whole. I don't know how long I stand there, frozen, unable to move, unable to think. The shape steps closer, its smile growing wider, its eyes black and empty. I want to run, to scream, to do anything, but I'm paralyzed with fear. It reaches out a hand, long fingers stretching toward me, and I feel the cold touch of its skin on mine. And then everything goes black. When I wake up, I'm back in the cabin. The sun is rising, casting a pale light through the windows. I feel a strange sense of calm, like the fear has drained out of me, replaced by something else, something darker. I get up, walk to the door, and step outside. The clearing is empty. The trees silent and still. I turn to look at the cabin, and for a moment I see a figure, standing in the doorway, watching me. It looks like me, but it's not me, not anymore. I smile, and the figure smiles back, and I hear the whispering start again in my own voice, echoing through the trees. Come outside. Come and see. And now, I understand. I understand what I have to do. I turn and walk into the woods, the whispers growing louder with each step, guiding me deeper and deeper into the darkness. I don't know where I'm going, but it doesn't matter. I'm not alone anymore.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket.